Hey, how about we get rid of that there, huh? How about that, Poz?
Yeah.
Pro wrestling for that. Hey, you know what? I was getting excited to put over some good news, and I make a technical error myself there. But Poz, I want to start off this week's show with someone wanted me to pass along good wishes, saying hello to you, and a little bit of good news and shout out there to a good friend of ours, Michael Jargo says hello.
Oh, Jargo, what's going on? Tell him I said hello, Mr. I guess he's Mr. Moving right now. He's moving to
Moving
Seattle.
on up, buddy.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
he's moving. He's leaving operations and going into management in television production, man. So some
Wow.
big news, and maybe next week we can do a little trio sit down for a
Yes.
4th of July week special. Hey, it's his birthday next week, so maybe we'll throw a little party for him there.
Nice. I feel like he moved because the Pacers lost. I might be wrong on that, but I just have a feeling that's the reason. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Ooh, running him out of town. Maybe that's what it is there. So maybe we'll get the scoop there. But Poz, we got to get it back at it here on the 10 count. As always, 10 big topics covering the world of professional wrestling. 10 great conversations between me and you. So let's jump right in to one of the hot button topics. Man, everybody's talking about this. The ordinary, everyday, just I love pro wrestling fans. They seem hyped. They seem pumped about this. But those of us deep inside of that bubble, not so impressed and maybe very, very worried that WWE might go ahead and pull the trigger on this one. Poz, what are the odds on Goldberg going over the champion Gunther?
You know, it's crazy. When initially this came out and this was coming to fruition, I was like, he has a 0.0 chance of winning. But as the weeks going on here, yeah, but as the weeks going on here and reading different pundits and reading different wrestlers and listening to an interview with DDP talking about it and listening to his son who said this isn't his last match. He has the itch. So to me, I'm like, wait a second. So it's in Atlanta, which is awesome and that's great. But this might just be like a tease that it's his final match. And he gets the bug again, he goes over and they have a rematch or whatever. So honestly, I went from 0.0 and reading all this stuff and listening to his son and listening to Diamond Dallas Page and listening to all these different people talking about it. I'm 50-50 right now on it, to be honest. I wouldn't have him win if that was me. I'd have Gunther go over, maybe decisively. I know it's in Atlanta, but really get Gunther over. But I don't know. You might do the, play to the hot crowd, play to the fact that it's over a huge name and obviously mainstream to the core. So I don't know, maybe you do. I'm 50-50 right now. What about you?
I think, the big surprise was the pop there in Green Bay when he made that first comeback there. The rumor had been out there amongst, the internet fans, the grumblings, they weren't so excited, but that pop there in that arena just lets you know how iconic, legendary Goldberg is. You mentioned a few things that really stick out to me, though, Poz. First, the adoptive hometown of Atlanta. They're going to be hot, no pun intended there. Hotlanta is going to be over big for Goldberg and his son. Looking to get him into the development system. Can we begin a story, something along those lines? That's what's going to be interesting. I think what the big win-win in this thing is that even someone like you that is 50-50, everybody's going to be tuning in on the edge of their seat to see exactly how this one plays out. And that's what you want in your professional wrestling.
Exactly. We don't know. A little bit of unpredictability here.
They left on last week's Raw with the sit down with Cole. We asked, Goldberg quite confident in his delivery. This is it for me. I want to go out in front of Atlanta, and I've got something to prove against somebody like Gunther, but it is for the title. What if you win? And Goldberg said, well, that presents an interesting situation.
Yeah, that to me, that too, I forgot about that. That kind of was like, wait a second here. They kind of threw that out there, obviously to tease us, but also to kind of maybe, which Triple H loves, maybe a little bit of an Easter egg.
Yeah. Also a wild card potentially that we could see again. That's going to go down in a couple of weeks at Saturday night's main event. But a wild card that could be thrown into that world title situation. I want to get your take on this group as a whole here. But we can also see maybe Goldberg winning and Rollins and his gang cashing in.
Yeah, that could definitely be too.
A lot of debate and conversation going on about the Rollins gang right now. It doesn't seem like a lot of the fans are really feeling the direction here of this newly formed faction.
To me, it's weird. It's like, is it working? Is it together? I don't know. It's like it almost feels like Heyman and Roman Reigns perfect together. It was very organic, like it worked. Even Heyman and Punk, Heyman and Lesnar worked perfectly. But when they try to put Heyman with Ryback and Heyman with Joe Hennig and Heyman with Claudio, it didn't really kind of mesh. It didn't really work as well. It didn't feel organic. This feels more like a wrestling storyline. You're putting the heel manager with a bunch of heels and trying to create a faction. They're trying to almost create like Evolution 2.0 here with a couple of young guys, even though obviously Jonah, aka Bronze Breeze, isn't necessarily a young guy, but still, they're definitely kind of trying to do that vibe. To me, it's not really working just because I don't really see Rollins as like the head leader of the group, and I don't think Rollins and Heyman together have any chemistry. Like it just isn't working to me. The thing that I like though, and which kind of keeps me interested in the group, I think Heyman and Braun Breaker have chemistry. That seems cool. I remember when he showed up to NXT and managed him once. It's like, you're a future Heyman guy. I feel like that's kind of cool. So I'm kind of waiting for Breaker to hopefully break Rollins in half and turn babyface or even turn heel and go. But I want Breaker and Heyman together. And I don't know. I'm not a big Rollins guy.
I think, and that's why a lot of fans are sticking with this group, with Rollins as the focal point right now as the leader. But a lot of fans are waiting for that, no pun intended here, that breakout moment for Braun Breaker to elevate himself. And obviously, we know the relationship with him and Paul Heyman. And Heyman, the ultimate opportunist, who knows how to hitch himself to that pedigree, that prize pony, to make sure his wagon is taken care of. And I think that's why a lot of people are kind of holding on to this thing, waiting for that moment. To me, I thought that would be a long-term game. Probably going to get that a lot sooner than later as fans do lose interest. I think the bigger issue lies in Seth Rollins himself. I could get a lot of heat for this one here, but what has he really done to have gotten over in his tenure? Even inside of this message, they're talking about Rollins is the future. He has the direction. You're the future now. You've been in this company for 10 years, and you haven't really gotten anything fully over. Sure, you've been pushed to the moon. You've had all those main event spots, all those title runs. I think it's very fitting who's handled him because it's almost like a mirror image is Triple H. When we talk about the top 10 greats or the greats of professional wrestling, resume-wise, Triple H is up there with anybody. But when you have that eye test, he doesn't measure up. He is a very second tier, and that's what Seth Rollins is. Every gimmick that he's had has probably hit at 40 to 50%. Nothing's truly gotten over, and we're seeing that continue here with this group. Are you with me, Poz? Did I lose you? Uh-oh.
Oh, you're back. I'm back. Sorry about that. I don't know what the heck's going on with my computer there. But you were saying about Seth Rollins and Triple H. You're right. Almost identical to Triple H's push. How many times did they try to push him? How many different things? You got to use Foley, then you got to use DX, and you got to use Waltman, then you got to use Michaels, and remember Bulldog came back and was even helping him when it was to China, then Stephanie. It's like. It's same thing with Rollins, and it's like they're almost there. They're like that ultimate B+ player, if you will, that ultimate B+ player, but they're never quite where the push is giving them. It's not as organic as you would think. And I know, Triple H is a legend. Rollins has been doing great, but Triple H was never Rock, never Stone Cold. Rollins never Reigns, never Punk. He's never one of those top guys.
Absolutely. We'll see where they go here. Paz. Were you a big Where's Waldo fan back in the day? Or
yes.
what about Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we have a WWE sort of version of this here. Missing in action, Paz. Maybe you know. He's my guy. I've been waiting for his return here. Pat McAfee. Where in the world is Pat Mac? Missing in action here.
Yeah, where is he?
Well, I think, he is a busy man. Doing a lot of big things. Had a lot of big fans that he's got to please there. And he actually addresses. We haven't seen him on for about a month now at the booth there. Covered Monday nights for Raw. And Pat McAfee went on the Pat McAfee show and said, you know what? Right now there's a lot going on. He's just taking a little time off to refuel, to get re-energized, refocus, and he will be back. Have you been missing McAfee there?
Gotta be honest, not so much. He's okay, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of him. His show was pretty good, and obviously he still does a show. He's just literally was live yesterday in the afternoon doing his show. So I don't know. He's all right. For some reason, I know you're a big Pat McAfee. I'm just not really that big into him. He's not bad or anything, but I like Corey Graves a lot better.
Okay, and here's what I get. I've seen, and this is not a diss on Corey Graves. I like when Barrett's been there. Corey Graves has been on fire. Done a great job in NXT. Worlds Collide as a fill-in here. Not, I would say maybe a fill-in, but back in the saddle there with Raw. But again, the value of Pat McAfee is that crossover appeal. He himself is a bigger brand, has a bigger reach, arguably in certain sections of the media than WWE itself. So when he has that crossover, it is such an amazing appeal. He opens up the door, for other sports to step on through. He hits his audience as he regularly interviews WWE personalities, puts over those storylines, hypes up those shows. So tremendous value from Pat McAfee. And I've seen some people, then he's showing he doesn't care. He doesn't want to be here. Again, this is one busy SOB. He is everywhere.
Yeah.
From his own show to game days, to big games in the arena. He is a major hype machine. Can't wait to have him back. But so much time, earn some time off. You know what, maybe they should have used this as a fuel to set up Gunther and Goldberg. Have Goldberg, Gunther beat the crap out of Pat McAfee back at their match. Have Goldberg save it. Then we wouldn't even be talking about the title being needed inside of that situation.
Yep.
It's almost if you had like plans and like long-term booking, maybe that would work. Kind of crazy, right?
We don't want to do that.
Okay. Call it on the fly, right? Call it on the fly.
But I guess because McAfee does this show every week, then you have to, then he's gonna have to say why. You know what I mean? Maybe it's kind of like he's doing a show every week. Why couldn't he just wrestle? I don't know.
I don't know. It's a little different to stand there in the Thunderdome with a microphone in front of you than it is to travel around, get in those arenas and be around that. But we could get there. Well, Pat McAfee's taking some time off. We've got a few other talents that are going to be taking some time off, and this is due to injury. And right now, these are hot hands. We'll start it right. We'll go with the leader of American Made. He's out there helping pimp that Real American Brew. First, have you had Real American Brew yet?
Yes, I have. I've had it a few times. So my buddy lives down in Florida. So literally when it first came out in Florida last year, I had it. And then this year I had it again when I went back down to Florida. So he and his wife, they always get it for me because they know I love, obviously, the Hulkster. And they know I want the can, but they want me to, try the beer. It's literally Miller Lite with his label on it. Exactly to a T. Tastes exactly the same.
I'll take your word out there. But, of course, we are talking about the one and only Chad Gable, written off TV this past week in a spot there with Penta attacking him. It looks like this is going to be a couple weeks. He's been working through an injury. Again, a hot hand for the WWE right now, Poz. What does this loss kind of mean for them? I know a mid-card act, but big player.
But upper mid-card for sure. When you're looking at it, this and the one we're going to be talking about right after it, I had the opposite reaction. This one hurts. This one stinks. I think that this was big because not only was he doing Chad Gable, and he's losing as Chad Gable, but he's got his faction. He's always on TV, so he's getting a ton amount of heat. And then he's undefeated, supposedly. If he's really El Grande Americano, he's supposedly not if he's supposedly him. He is undefeated in that character. So that character is super over. So he's playing two different characters, doing two different things. He's on fire, kind of getting heat in both. He's undefeated in one, so that one hurts. And he was one of my favorite parts of the show. I just thought whether he was Gable or supposedly if he really is a Grande Americano, those are two of the best characters in the show. I love Gable. I think he's awesome.
Again, a terrible loss here for WWE, but as you said, the dual characters, allegedly, the dual characters. But here's how I would handle this going forward because I don't want to completely lose his contributions to the programming. I actually would take Chad Gable away from programming right now, out of the eye for a bit of a repackaging with him. Now, I know he's so great is that guy you just love to hate, punch in the face, little man syndrome. But to me right now, I really feel that we could be embracing him. And that's why I mentioned the Real American Beer that got them advertising that. I'd love to see him come back in that underdog, someone that as Americans we can rally behind and root for and have him on the rise. And I think American Made as a whole, I think Ivy Niles could be that version in a female aspect. I'd love to see her get a great run with the Women's United States Championship. I don't know why right now we are so keyed in on booing the ones that are representing America. I would like to see a change there. Now, with El Americano, I wouldn't remove him from television at all. I would have him simply, again, undefeated, but realizing now as he really looks into the eye of the storm with AAA, with the purchase here coming together, what that means is even as the world's greatest luchador, there is always room for improvement. So I would have vignettes of him going and continuing that training and seeking that further help so we can still have that entertainment value and kind of that bridge with the AAA and Lucha Libre stuff on television.
All right. I was thinking maybe keep him on television, even though he's injured. Keep him going.
I keep the Americana on there, but I would like the repackaging of the American Made side of him. But right. keep him on television in some capacity. Our other one, it seems all right. I think we might be on a completely different sides of the spectrum on this one, but another major blow here in the last couple of weeks, the loss of Liv Morgan.
Yeah, so I'm thinking she might just need some time off just to refresh and come back, and hopefully she's not that long, because I feel like she was going to lose to Io Sky, but she's still the tag champ. It's almost like rinse and repeat with a lot of these women. They get super over, and then they have to get the next person over. But why can't they just stay over and keep the act going? I feel like so since they're going to do that and I knew she was going to lose to Io Sky, they're going to do like maybe it's just better off keep her off for a little bit, refresh the tag division, give Raquel the titles, then have her come back and maybe be a baby face and turn it that way. But the only thing I will say, and I know you might get some heat for this, but I'm going to miss her on TV because she's arguably, and a lot of people would agree with me, she's the hottest female, in the company. So I know it might get some heat for that, which is insane, but that's where I'm going to miss her, because if anytime she's on TV, your eyes are just glued. I mean, if you're a man and you're going through the channels, or or if you're looking at Netflix, who is this blonde? 10 out of 10 blonde here. So got to be honest, just throwing that out there. Got to miss her on that aspect.
Poz, speaking of aspect, I didn't know you were a cheeky bastard. How about we check out the lovely Liv Morgan there, where I share my thoughts on this.
She's the best.
If it's been here on the 10 count, if it's been on the Monday locker room, if it has been on the Smack Attack, I have been putting over Liv Morgan for a while now, just not in the women's division. I make an argument from the last year's WrestleMania to this past year's WrestleMania that she is a contender for an MVP in the entire company. In the last few years, we have seen her go from a girl to a woman in this business. She understands how to do it in the ring, tell that story, her moveset. She fully understands her character, how to completely sell in and out, tremendous on PR, crossover. She is a total package for them right now. This injury couldn't come at a worse time. Everything that she touched is turned into gold. I know they pulled her back going into last year's WrestleMania. That was a test to see if she could still bring that A game. She absolutely delivered. What really hurts right now with this injury and this timing is the loss of an opportunity at Evolution against Nikki Bella. Love her or hate her, it's a good little crossover into some other realms there that she could have had. That I do think that they missed out on during that injury. You got to stay liquid wrestling. You got to be able to call it on the fly. Why didn't they have Perez out there to replace her in that match and continue to build that? Keep Liv on television right now. She is one of your hottest acts. She can help elevate everyone around her, drive those stories. And I'll point to AEW a few years ago when the best thing on their television was a Britt Baker in a wheelchair. I think you could really lean into the acting chops. Liv just came back from doing a movie. Lean into that and still utilize the great draw that she is. Speaking of Evolution and hot commodities for the women's division, maybe one of the returns we didn't know we would ever see. Poz, I know you're excited for this one. Vicky G back in the Vicky Guerrero. Looks like she's scheduled to make a return to WWE and a part of the Evolution pay-per-view. Or Premium 5, I'm sorry.
That is interesting with her, because it's always like her home, if you will. She was there before. She was on TV for so long as a SmackDown general manager. Obviously, Eddie was her husband. There just almost felt like she was there. But then she went to AEW, and we're like, all right, this is kind of weird. Nyla Rose is manager. It's like, kind of, what do we? So it's like, okay, I guess she'll never make her way back. But then it's almost like, well, why not? I mean, yeah, especially if you're going to do the Evolution pay-per-view, it just makes sense to bring her back. She was a heat magnet. She knows what she's doing. She played the character well. So why not bring her back? But, you did make a good point about Liv. Liv versus Nikki Bella would have been great. Or even the Bella twins versus Liv Morgan and Raquel would have been great. But Vicky, where does she land? She's going to manage somebody. So why not bring her back? I kind of like when they bring back kind of the old, like the old guard, if you will, even if it's for a one-off or so. I know they used to do the corny stuff with Ron Simmons, but I it's just fun seeing some of those guys back if they're used in a correct role and like a more serious role. But it could be good.
But I think, with Vicky Guerrero, you could go either way there. If you wanted to put her in a manager role with someone for a serious push, obviously could be a number of directions. But you could also have a lot of fun with her because she is so great in those character roles, things like that. But, even if this is a one-off, maybe you expect maybe something with LWO. I think it'd be great entertainment-wise to see her doing something with Dirty Dom.
Yes.
With that tie-in. Yes. So I think always for the entertainment aspect and to see somebody come back to get another pop and another shine there on that big stage, it's going to be great to see Vicky Guerrero back. Poz, let's stick with the ladies here. Again, we talked about Saturday night's main event, the big conversation there with Gunther and Goldberg going for that championship. Well, that next night, on that Sunday, it is the return, Evolution 2, a few years in the making. Poz, how you feeling about this? We're a couple weeks out, not a lot announced here, a lot teased, a lot of direction. A lot of people were talking about the letdown from the first Evolution. Was the company really bought into it? Are they making a better effort this time around? Are you excited for it?
I don't know. It just feels like there hasn't been a big push for it. Like, what are we really setting up? Are we really setting up anything for it? So as of right now, no. I mean, and it's only a couple weeks away. So it's like, man, they really got to put the pedal to the metal here if they really want to pump it up. So as of right now, I would say no. They got to do a better job of pumping it up, promoting it. And what's the main event? What's the draw? What are we kind of shooting for? Because even like you would think like Charlotte Flair versus Trish, or I don't know, like something that you have. No, she hasn't really been doing much. Kind of teasing something with Bliss. They haven't really done anything. The only thing was Nikki Bella, and then they lost Liv to injury. So you literally have nothing, no promotion of anything so far.
As you said, there's a lot of teasing there. The things with did they announce? I know like the Rhea and the Raquel street fight and things like that. So there's a lot of things leading towards Evolution here. But if you really want to, again, the whole point around the creation of this the first time around, and the reason you should be bringing this back is to elevate and lift women's wrestling and showing it across different platforms, crossing boundaries. Where I feel this is really let down is we're sticking inside of the bubble. Like, why aren't we reaching out to other star female athletes at this time? Especially with like the WNBA, which is such a hot conversation right now with things they got going on. And what are we talking about in the WNBA? Them throwing down. How physical that game has been. Perfect tie into professional wrestling, correct?
Yep.
You could have something going on there. Where are these tie-ins with these hip hop artists that we've got? Where is the, no pun intended here, the flair for Evolution right now? And I think another problem where this lies is, we're sitting here recording on a Friday. We're hours away, let's say a day away from Night of Champions over in the desert. Then, we got the holiday weekend. The day before Evolution, we got the Great American Bash, and we've got the Saturday night's main event. I think that one of the biggest issues here is just the clutter of all these marquee and premium live events just getting lost on top of each other.
Yeah, it's almost like too much, and then Evolution gets thrown in there with no real hype or no real build-up, and just because they get lost in the shuffle.
Again, with a lot of concern, we heard some rumors, some rumblings from backstage that people weren't really excited about this internally because they think it's the company just setting it up for another failure. Hopefully that's not the case, and we get they kick it in gear, and we get some real excitement going into that event.
Not a bad thought.
Let's switch gears for WWE and show some love to the other big company here in the States. Some big celebrations coming up for AEW on television. We've got Dynamite 300, No, that's not a NASCAR race, Poz. It's actually they're celebrating 300 episodes of AEW Dynamite, and
Nice.
Collision's about to hit 100 episodes. Two big milestones there for All Elite Wrestling. But I want to dive into their TV schedule because it has kind of been rotating, flipping and flopping up in the air. Obviously, Dynamite, a staple there, typically on Wednesday night, but Collision, they've run it directly after Dynamite for a 4-hour block on Wednesday. This week, they ran it on Thursday, and it's usually scheduled in for its Saturday time slot. And due to other games, sometimes it goes at 8 o'clock. Sometimes it runs later at 10. Sometimes if there's a game on, it won't hit the air until midnight. How do you feel about the AEW, the All Elite Wrestling TV schedule, Poz? And which nights would you prefer?
So I feel like sometimes with the 4-hour block, that's even too much for me. I know people were saying, "Oh, more wrestling, the better." I don't know. I like 2 hours, 2 hours. Yeah, it's a lot, especially, I mean, I'm an old man now. I mean, staying up till midnight on a Wednesday when you have to work early morning Thursday is not ideal either. So I don't like that at all. I don't really mind when they do Wednesday, Thursday, back-to-back days. I do like Wednesday and then Saturday night. I think that's perfectly fine. Obviously, Wednesday is like the ideal night other than baseball during, the 6 months of baseball, for, like the Yankees are on or something on Wednesday nights. Other than that, there's really nothing on as far as any sort of TV or, maybe some sports. You get some playoffs here and there, but really, I like Wednesday nights. I think that's the best. And Saturdays is good. Obviously, Friday nights was a complete disaster. But I don't know. I like Wednesday nights, and I'll probably say Collision on either Thursday nights, which isn't bad, or Saturday nights.
The 4-hour blocks, as you mentioned, man, they are an absolute marathon. It might work a little bit now with the streaming deal with Max, boom, boom, boom. And you understand why when you got the city, you got the audience, go ahead and knock them out there. If you're relying on a lot of those replay views through the streaming service, but that's a lot. I wouldn't mind them doing the 4-hour block, maybe like quarterly, as long as they really, truly make that feel special. But AEW is on this trend now where it seems like each and every week they have to have a theme, so you don't really get to breathe with it. Yeah. Saturday night, there's a lot going on. You run into a lot of other major sports. It does present issues, especially you got college football coming up with those big games. We just saw Saturday, it would get pushed back. They had a great feed-in, though, after like the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs. I really like that Wednesday, Thursday. You can get back to back. You feel the flow. You kind of remember what happened. Things tied together. They're fresh. And Thursday, I know TNA's out there, but come on, their distribution isn't there. XSTV is not really on the radar, so it is nice to have some major wrestling on that Thursday to kick back and tune into.
Yeah.
Staying with All In, we are a couple weeks away from their biggest domestic show, their big stadium show coming to Texas. All In. Poz, they've been adding matches. They've been getting the hype on. Are you feeling it? Are you ready to go all in with a couple weeks still on the schedule?
So Omega Okada, that's what I'm most excited for. That I'm all in for. I think that should be the main event.
A title on the line. They're getting very personal. He's hemorrhaging blood. Come on.
I think that should be the main event, to be honest. I'm not a big Mox guy. I know you are. You love Mox. I'm not a big Adam Page fan. I know my buddy Jack, he's a huge Adam Page fan. I'm not a Page fan. So I do not want that to be the main event because I am interested in this show. But I think Ospreay and Swerve Young Bucks will be good. I mean, obviously, I think every Ospreay match is good. And the Young Bucks usually deliver, especially in big-time matches. I think that and Monet and Storm, just because I'm kind of curious to see how they work together. I want to see the booking, who's actually going to win, because Storm's kind of like their girl. But Mercedes Monet has.
She got.
I got to go.
So goofy with all them belts.
I know. I got to go Monet just because I feel like Tony Khan won't pull the trigger on her losing ever. She hasn't lost ever. It's been like 2 years. It's like, what the hell is she ever going to lose?
I get you there. He paid a lot of money. Her boyfriend now suddenly in main events this past week.
She's
got all those belts.
Got a lot of stroke. Yep.
But here's to me though, with all of that going on, that truly elevates with Monet taking the loss at All In.
I hope so.
That elevates your women's championship and your champion. It says that Monet can go anywhere around this globe and dominate, capture gold, do what she wants, beat the absolute best of the best. But she fell just short when it came to getting the grandest prize in AEW's women wrestling. That elevates you. That's how you make your championship look better.
That would be smart. I would like it.
It's interesting to me that you're going with Omega Okada should be in that main event. To me, you got to go pay off that long-term storytelling. This is the final showdown. The Desperados, the Bandits, the gang of outlaws that have just been running ruckus all over AEW. And finally, the Cowboy comes in. The gunslinger stands alone at the OK Corral.
But I don't think he should win. I think Darby should be the one that takes the title off of Moxley.
You got to have a payoff. This has to be it. It is time to move on. I mean, that's your big moment. We can.
I'd have Mox go over. I'd have Mox go over. Keep the heat. Keep that heat.
All right, we're going to have to break that down. We'll get into that. We'll do a special episode focusing just in that All In, their biggest show. But all right, so hey, we've got some good conversation. There is some intrigue there, and I hope the rest of the fans are feeling that a big show. Big time on the line there for AEW, man. So looking forward. Best of luck there to TK and that crowd. Well, Poz, it's about that time. Brings us up to our pro wrestling pop of the week. Hey, in this one, it isn't a ha-ha, but it is to make you feel good. And hey, if this one doesn't make you feel good, there's something wrong with you. Hand in your pro wrestling card here. But the pop of the week, the big news, JR out there announcing that he is cancer-free.
Nice.
Very, very nice.
Love JR. God bless JR. He's the man. Love JR. He is the best.
All right, Poz. We're going to get out of here. Hey, another big pop there. We love JR. Congratulations on the diagnosis. Cancer-free, brother. Before we get out of here, how about with Pop Poz? One big time. Get a little cheeky on our way out on this week's.
The best. She's the best.